over $300 million in net inflows on the Bitcoin spot ETF yesterday, and we're literally a week away from the decision by the SEC whether or not to approve the Ethereum ETF. And yes, there's only an 11% chance that the Ethereum spot ETF will get approved on May 23rd. But there's not actually a fundamental reason for that. And I talked a lot about it in recent videos, but the SEC is most likely just going to do SEC things, which is to push back and reject the Ethereum spot ETF. But in my view, to be honest, this is already priced in. And if we look at the prices, yes, we are seeing a little bit of a recovery today, 3% on Ethereum, 6% on Bitcoin. And to be honest, 6% isn't really a lot in percentages, but this means a $4,000 move from Bitcoin from, around 61, 62,000 to now over 66,000 after last night. At least here, Dubai time last night, the CPI data has been published, and was just as expected, but that somehow magically giga pumped the entire crypto markets as well. Giga pumped, as we can see, especially altcoins. Solana up 12%, and all the meme coins also up a lot, and near also 18%. So good recovery here, and like I said, $300 million in net inflows on the Bitcoin spot ETF. Even Grayscale, $27 million in inflows yesterday. Fidelity, $130 million, and BlackRock, 0 yesterday. So Fidelity also now over $10 billion in net assets that they're holding. And this is now the third consecutive day, not only of net inflows, but massive increase in inflows after we've seen a couple of weeks of chopping around and a lot of inflows here. On May 1st, we had $560 million in outflows alone. But this is a good direction, the right direction. And who knows, maybe the Ethereum spot ETF will get approved. This would mean we had a massive summer ahead, especially for altcoins. But like I said, chance is super low, and most likely this thing is getting rejected. Looking more into the Cosmos ecosystem specifically, or the interchain, because even Minscan here is still referring to Atom as Cosmos, which, to be honest, for me as a content creator, this is exactly what I mean by fighting an uphill battle, right? And even on Binance, on Kraken, a lot of the exchanges, on Crypto.com, most of these platforms are still referring to Atom as Cosmos. So we might as well just keep doing that. We might as well just entirely give the Atom, the Cosmos brand to Atom and the Cosmos Hub, because that's probably just what people are assuming anyways. But looking at the prices, we see Atom $8.41, not a big pump, not a big recovery relative to also other coins. Akash AKT super strong, $6 almost, $5.94, up 18% today. Celestia also now recovering, $9.10, up 12%. So a lot of double-digit gainers. If we look at actually the top gainers, we see Sei Network up 27%. They were almost at $1, I think, like 2-3 months ago, and now they got really hit hard by this chopping around. 44 cents was the lows, but they're also bouncing very hard. And they're bouncing very hard also because Sei V2 is around the corner. I talked about it a lot over the past couple of months. Sei V2 is going to bring parallelized EVM execution, which would make it extremely fast. And they now just announced the phased rollout of that feature of V2. Phase 1 is going to be governance. Phase 2 is the V2 alpha for stability and infrastructure deployment. And then phase 3 is going to be the V2 beta that is then going to go live. So parallelizing the EVM, basically what they're trying to do now is also obviously front-running Monad. Monad is one of the most highly anticipated launches in all crypto this year. I think they raised more than $250 million, like almost $250 million is what Monad raised. If you think Berachain raised a lot with their 150 million, Monad, this is nothing for Monad. Monad raised 250 million, at least as far as I know, as I've seen. But if you know more about Monad, please let me know. But also from my understanding, Monad is not going to launch anytime soon, and that gives Sei Network time to dominate that category, that dominates the parallel EVM execution space. We also know Injective is one of the fastest chains out there that's also Cosmos native. So both Sei and Injective are Cosmos native. Monad is Ethereum native. But it's good to see that a lot of this innovation is actually happening in Cosmos land, or in the interchain land, I should say. Anyways, switching gears, switching ecosystems, let's talk briefly about the Substrate ecosystem. And you know our media partners at Aleph Zero. if you've been subscribed to this channel, Aleph Zero is a substrate-based chain that is focused for ZK privacy, but it's also super fast. And I actually have a video coming up very soon about what ZK actually is, what ZK stands for, the different types of ZK proofs, and also ZK for scalability and ZK for privacy. We have Polygon, Mina protocol, even Namada, Penumbra, and also Aleph Zero that are all using ZK proofs for different reasons, right? And also in different contexts. But the news I want to share now is that Common is going to be the DEX on Aleph Zero, because Aleph Zero itself is more of a institutional focused chain. And to be honest, the substrate economy itself is not a very retail friendly environment, right? It starts already with staking. Like if you are a Polkadot fan or a Kusama fan, staking your DOT or your KSM is an absolute nightmare. And Aleph Zero is really the one that's trying to step up and take the fate and the future of the .sama ecosystem into their own hands by just building their own ecosystem, right? So Aleph Zero is a substrate-built chain, but they're not a parachain on Polkadot or Kusama. The way you can imagine that is basically similar to how a chain would be simply built on the Cosmos SDK, but not be a consumer chain to the Cosmos hub, right? And that's also, I talked about this a lot over the years, how Polkadot and Cosmos are similar in a sense, because they both have the same end goals and end visions, but they just started on the other end of the spectrum. And Polkadot and Kusama started with building out a shared security platform, which, to be honest, now, especially this whole economic model around the auctions, seems to have failed, at least in my perception, because now you can get a slot for like $5,000-$6,000. There's literally no demand for it. There's also an oversupply of block space, I think, in the entire crypto space now, with also the rise of the celestias, the rise of the app chain thesis, and all these kind of things. And at the same time, we also see the sort of canary thesis from Kusama not really playing out as kind of expected or anticipated. So Polkadot itself is going through a renaissance. I also listened to Dr. Gavin Wood's talk here at Token 2049 when he announced GEM and the gray paper for GEM. So interesting stuff, but yeah, so far I think, and in my personal opinion, I think that DOT is still severely kind of overrated, overvalued in that context, considering the market cap. But yeah, Aleph Zero, while being a substrate chain, is kind of doing their own thing, right? And not too much associating themselves also with the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. But yeah, like I said, they are building a private ecosystem, and they're also building now their own integrated applications. So Aleph Zero is in L1, but they're building integrated applications like Common, which is a DeFi suite that is going to launch with an AMM. They will also have its own token. And in the next rollout, in the next phase, they will also add this privacy meta layer to it. So Common 1.0 is just for rolling out the DEX, and then Common 2.0 is going to add a privacy feature to it, which is very, very interesting. And the reason why I'm sharing that is, well, number one, you can play around with it. And if you're a Cosmos user, you can also check out some of these other wallets. You can use Talisman, for example, Polkadot GS, which I really don't recommend, Subwallet Nightly, and Aleph Zero has their own wallet as well. I'm using Talisman. I think it's a relatively nice wallet. And yeah, this is what you can play around. This is on testnet now, so this is not live on mainnet yet. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because they announced Common Drops, which is basically a phased rollout of an airdrop for the CMN token that is going to be given out to A0 stakers over a period of 6 months. So this is all explained here in this article, which I'm going to drop below here. But yeah, there's going to be multiple rounds, and they also explain if you have X amount of A0 staked, how much would you be eligible for, and so on and so forth. So Aleph Zero is just building out their own ecosystem focused on ZK, scalability, privacy, and also integrated applications, which I think this is going to be a big narrative. Like I said, I'm very bullish on ZK as a whole, as a standalone category, because ZK privacy enables a lot of use cases for the entire privacy sector, which is going to elevate all of this, right? Because right now we're not really seeing a lot of hype around privacy, but in my view, this is going to come sooner or later. A0 itself, trading at 82 cents right now, $300 million fully diluted valuation, ranked 252 on CoinGecko. It's one of those coins that is actually extremely stable. If you think in crypto terms, right? Crypto volatility is usually absolutely nuts and through the roof. But this had an absolute all-time low of 60 cents and an all-time high of $3, which is not too crazy. The spread is here a 5x spread. And yeah, there's just been in this range here. I think what A0 really needs is, number one, more traction and momentum around their narrative and ZK privacy. And number two, build out their own ecosystem to also have something for retail to play around with, right? Because like I said earlier, A0 is very much institutional driven. I also was at their dinner here with STC Bahrain. So Saudi Telecom, they have a partnership with them. And yeah, I talked to them and they're very excited to join Aleph Zero. Aleph Zero also has partnerships with Deutsche Telekom and a lot of other players, right? So yeah, definitely want to put in your watch list, especially if you also want to kind of branch out more from Cosmos and the interchain, because so far right now, Aleph Zero does not have IBC compatibility. I think they could easily integrate it if they were to connect or implement Picasso Network's Centauri bridge, because that is built for substrate chains. And I think through that, they technically could connect to IBC, which is also something that I want to obviously help to make happen, because eventually that is interchain expansion, right? That I'm also trying to drive here on this channel through my content to onboard more developers and build more bridges literally by bringing IBC out to the world. And then we also have some news from Strange Clan. I talked about it yesterday. The Strange Clan, they announced the Strange Clan Hunt. And this is actually going to be the first alpha demo where you can actually play the game, where you can actually play with your favorite characters that are also, by the way, NFTs. And this campaign is starting tomorrow, 7 p.m. UTC, and runs until Sunday, which is basically a way for you to get incentives, because there are also passage tokens that you can win. You can form teams. So it's a form of community building, a form of incentivization for the community, for you, for me. And also it's a way to report bugs and to improve the game and to improve the platform and to, refine things before they're really getting into the next stage. So this is how it's going to look like. You just be able to play around with your character and you have to find treasures. It's like a treasure hunt, basically. Note that this is for NFT holders, and if you don't have an NFT yet, you should definitely get one. I personally also think that the Strange Clan NFT collection should entirely migrate to primarily trade on Stargaze, or vice versa, that Stargaze deploys an outpost on the passage chain. But yeah, Stargaze is just known as the NFT marketplace. It's the whole community culture is around it. And this is where everyone in Cosmos just goes to when they want to buy NFTs. You're not going to the natives chains NFT marketplace per se, right? Unless obviously there's something that really people really want. But this one, I think, if this was on Stargaze, the volumes and the traction and the hype would 10x immediately. Passage itself has taken a huge hit over this sideways chapung phase. Now at a $35 million market cap, fully diluted, 2.8 cents, to be honest, extremely, extremely low. You can see that this has just gone down only from the highs here of around, 11 cents. This was like 4 months ago, 12 cents even. In January, it was the peak. But yeah, Passage also a brand new token in that sense that has never seen a full bull run. And this is going to be the first bull run. And like I always say, the metaverse narrative is extremely cold right now, but this will come back eventually. This will come back. Facebook rebranded to Meta. Apple brought out this metaverse goggles, right? All these big companies, all these influential people, they will, and TradFi people, they will eventually bring back the metaverse hype. And Passage is at the forefront here, one of the most innovative metaverse chains there are and projects. So I'm very excited to see they're also combining a lot of the existing public infrastructure and have partnerships with Akash network, for example. And this is very exciting. So Passage is my metaverse bet for this cycle. And this just gives more time to accumulate, to be honest. This is a very, very interesting price right now, in my view. $35 million. Passage has massive upside potential, especially when the metaverse hype comes back. Anyways, we have huge news from Osmosis. I talked to you about it recently, about smart accounts and how smart accounts are a game changer. Now smart accounts have landed with a V25 upgrade on the Osmosis chain. This upgrade not only brought smart accounts, but also a couple other things. Number one, top of block auction mechanism, which is a new feature by Skip Protocol's block SDK that refines how transactions are processed. And this opens up a new revenue stream for the protocol and more efficient pricing within the ecosystem. You can read more here. Number 2, a burn mechanism, which is probably something you love. I love because I still have huge Osmo banks from years that I've been accumulating, that I've been compounding, that I've been staking, that I've been farming. So Skip Protocol's ProtoRef, which is an MEV capture mechanism, accumulates Osmo, Atom, and USDC by conducting arbitrage on the Osmosis chain. 1.3 million Osmo tokens will be burned shortly after the upgrade, which just passed. So these 1.3 million Osmo will be burned very, very soon. This is good to see, a nice little burn mechanism here. Then, like I said, smart accounts, and smart accounts is a feature that's now integrated on the chain, but there will have to be a subsequent governance proposal in order to activate the functionality. So we have to wait for this to actually be fully implemented. And then also consensus improvements. We now have EIP 1559 style gas market for calculation of gas prices. Target block times are now down to 2.5 seconds, which makes it overall faster. And yeah, more stuff. Anyways, this is Osmo. Osmo itself also, like I said, they have a new assets tab where you can find tokens, browse around better and smoother. You see the top gainers, the new coins, upcoming ones. And yeah, this is also an alpha list here of some coins, and you can also categorize them into different fields. So this is Osmo. Osmo itself, $87, which is, to me, in my personal humble opinion, below $1 Osmo is a steal. It's like picking up money from the floor. I said in the recent videos that I'm a bit puzzled, to be honest, by some of the narrative shifts from like, oh, Osmosis is going to be a Bitcoin L2. I think this is all kind of distracting away from, let's make Osmosis or have Osmosis stay in the position of being the liquidity and IBC hub in Cosmos, right? I think just doubling down on that instead of like just trying to chase like Bitcoin L2 and all these kind of things. Sure, you can implement Babylon shared security or Babylon Bitcoin staking, I should say, to secure Osmosis chain through BTC, which is amazing, fantastic. But yeah, I think Osmosis is really in a great spot to just keep doing what they're doing, increase the revenue streams, increase also the burn. They also refined massively the tokenomics in the bear market. So inflation has come down a lot. And yeah, now it's all focus should be on also capturing value from large token launches early, right? We talked about Initia, we talked about Berachain. I think they were sleeping probably a little bit on Saga, but they're like multi-billion-dollar tokens that are launching. And I think Osmosis should be always the main DEX where all these tokens not only launch, but actually want to launch. They want to be first on Osmosis. They want to have the highest volumes. They want to have the most liquidity on Osmosis. This is really where we need to get to as an ecosystem, that Osmosis becomes the premier DEX and kind of maybe even a launch pad, right? With StreamSwap integrated. I think StreamSwap is one of the best features that we have in Cosmos that's severely underrated. But anyways, just general thoughts on Osmosis. Maybe we can do another standalone episode on that. We also have some updates from CosmWasm. So CosmWasm, the native smart contract framework in Cosmos that sees vast adoption also. DYDX just integrated it. The Cosmos Hub will integrate it, and many other chains. So yeah, there's now an academy that was announced by Confio, I guess. CosmWasm is maintained primarily by Confio, but now also by Neutron and some other chains. And yeah, they're hosting this academy around their event, which is happening in late May at the CosmWasm Hackathon in Berlin. And speaking of Berlin, we're also doing Cosmos Berlin by Cosmoverse with the Interchain Foundation, One Protocol, Abstract, Anoma, and our Road to Cosmoverse partners. And this is going to be a fun one. May 27 at the Web3 Hub at the Memecoins. So you'll be able to see your favorite Cosmos heroes if you're in Berlin at that time. Also, we have a revamp of our website, or basically V2 of our website, because this right now is just V1 basically, or V0, very raw, but you'll be able to find more information here. Also some testimonials from what people say about us as Stakecito validators, that is. So check that out as well. Also, our team keeps growing. We Might actually have another announcement coming soon about another team member that just joined us. So very exciting times with Stakecito, and we have a lot of chains that we're going to launch in the next coming weeks and months. So it's going to be an interesting journey. And obviously also through Stakecito, we're getting a lot of alpha and insights about what are some of the next big chains that are launching, right? One of which is also, for example, 10 Planet, right? Which is also a chain that is going to launch as a sovereign Cosmos L1, or basically using the interchain stack, I should say. And this is a chain that's optimized for the Web3 AI economy. So one to also keep an eye on. And there's many, many more. I'll probably do a separate video on some of the hottest chains that are currently in the works that are launching in the Cosmos ecosystem. But yeah, two more things. Finally, we have Saga announcing the Vault 2 snapshots that will be taken in the next 30 days. So the Vault 1 snapshot, which was a recycling for the Saga token itself, happened and was closed the day before yesterday. And now we have Vault 2 snapshots, which are coming very, very soon. So keep an eye on that. And to be honest, I feel like this is going to be a similar thing like Stride has with their recycling for the airdrop, right? In a similar way, I think these vaults will be an interesting way for the Saga community to always have one place to go to and capture some of the value that's being, created for Saga stakers. And that's why I think it makes sense to not only stake Saga, but to also compound your Saga, because we know for a fact that the Saga team loves loyal stakers. Loyal stakers also meaning people that increase their stake over time. So definitely want to keep an eye on. And I think these vaults will be, there will be a long list of vaults over the next coming 6 to 8 months, I guess, with all these projects in the Saga ecosystem launching. And we already know for a fact that there's 100 plus projects that will have their own token that will be airdropped to the Saga community. But yeah, also gaming right now, I think, is a little bit of a cold narrative, but once gaming also, similar to Metaverse, even NFTs in general, I think, but once gaming gets really hot again, a hot narrative, then I think Saga is going to fly in the Saga ecosystem as well. And we're also, right now just in this phase where it's all about meme coins or nothing, to be honest. Like if you're not a meme coin, you're really having a hard time right now. But yeah, that's all about that. And finally, speaking of meme coins, we have a new one called Shitmoss on CoinHall here, which has a $200,000 FTV fully diluted valuation, which is super low. So please trade that at your own risk. $60,000 liquidity, only $40,000 in trade volume, 171 traders. So that's really super low everything. But yeah, that's one of the meme coins in the Cosmos ecosystem. We also have Toro, I'm seeing here, which is native to the Celestia ecosystem, but super low liquidity, $56,000 FTV. So I think that's also really the problem here in the Cosmos ecosystem, is that meme coins are not sticking. They're not sticking, right? We have meme coins, but they're not sticking. Lab also $1.35 million FTV, $38. And we also, I think, have Hava. I have not looked at Hava in a long time, but Hava, 17.5 million. Yeah, at least a higher market cap, but still also that one is not really sticking in that sense. So yeah, this is really the thing about meme coins. But to be honest, also I feel like Cosmos shouldn't force meme coins. I keep saying this, right? Eventually, there will be meme coins on Cosmos that will be successful in the interchain, but also I don't think we should force it, right? And yeah, if there's an airdrop, that's nice. Maybe we get $5, maybe we get $20, maybe we get $100, but airdrop is airdrop, and never disrespect the airdrop. That's all I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay safe and be good.